Good morning. Good morning. Is it working? Are we live? Yes, we are. Good morning. Beautiful sunny day. Lovely, lovely weather here in Crowborough. Windows open. It's proper summer in the southeast of England. And what about where you are this morning? Come on in. Come on in and join the party, the SHAC party. Steve, I know you're helping us out today. So Steve Ellen is with you in the building today, and he will answer any questions you've got, if you have any. I can't see anybody yet. I wonder, is it? There they are. You know, it's always a little bit of a delay, isn't there? Steve, do me a favour. Just let me know that the sound is okay. Let me turn my phone off. Yes, that's important. Cool. Good. Early to the party. Always like to get in early so that I can figure out what we're doing, make a plan. I think it's important. I mean, if you're the designated driver, you really do need to know what you're doing, don't you? Hey? I think so. I had a bad night. I don't know whether it's the weather fluctuation. Check that out. Don't say that when you've had a couple of sherbets. The weather fluctuation. Oh, phew. Quite threw me. Would have thrown me even more if I said it wrong. Where was I? Yes, the weather fluctuation. Let's think of another word. You know, like the weather's changing, the changeability. Oh no, it's gonna be one of those days. Yeah, I don't know. You can't sleep, can you? It's hot, it's cold, the window's open, the window's shut, the barometer's gone berserk, Dave's snoring, had it all going on. Then everybody came in here and started living rent-free in my head. That's no good either. Never mind. Never mind. Thank goodness we can all get together in the SHAC. Come on in. Sound is good. Thanks for the funny face. What, this funny face? Right, come on. We've got loads to do. We're on the old postcards this week, aren't we? The colouring postcards. Coming together really nicely. I'm so glad you're enjoying this. I was a little bit apprehensive because I thought, you know, when you do something really excellent, like we went down the woods last week, and it was so good, wasn't it? And then I was thinking, oh, it could be a bit of a come down, a load of parakeets. But actually, it's been a real good learning curve, hasn't it, with the watercolour pencils. So that's what we were going to do today as well. We're going to crack on with our birds, and I thought today we'll add a little bit of shade. Do a little bit of colour blending. This could go wrong, you know. Come on in, grab a seat, and take them off for a minute. Come on in. Have you got your tea? Have you got your coffee? How are you? How are you? I've given up on the news. It freaks me out. None the wiser. Do you know, I still haven't been to a supermarket, apart from, I mean, I don't know, does the little garage, Marks and Spencer's count? You know, where you get your petrol? If that counts, then I have been to a supermarket. Otherwise, I haven't been to a supermarket since lockdown, since March. Do I look emaciated? No. So somehow managing to feed myself. Well, we're still getting the buckets of yoghurt from the wholesaler and the gallons of honey. So at the moment I'm on a Greek yoghurt and honey with cherries diet. That keeps you running. That keeps you regular, I can tell you. Okay, come on. What's the time? It's 10 o'clock. Whoopee. Come on in. Welcome to the SHAC. It's great to have your company. SHAC. What does it stand for? Can you believe there are people still watching that they come in late and they don't hear the beginning and they don't know what SHAC stands for? Safe, happy and creative, which is what we all are. Stay home and craft, which is what we're all doing. And so this week, we've been getting to grips with the watercolour end of the pergola pencils, haven't we? Because for months now, nay, years, we've been working on the blending pencils, haven't we? Like the polychromos, you know? And then I thought, do you know, 20 of those 36 pencils are aquarelle pencils. We really ought to investigate. So that's what we've been doing. And it's really cool, isn't it? It's interesting how it, the different ways that you think you should use them. And everybody was really impressed with the old mix mat. You know, lots of other things. I mean, we sell these, but there's lots of things. Anything that's got a purchase, basically. Like if you've got a folder or, you know, like bathroom glass. Anything like that that's got a little bit of tread so that you can rub the pigment on them. One of the things that I was thinking, because I know that we've got two, right? Because it says water on one, then it follows there's going to be an oil one as well. And I'm pretty sure, because loads of you have ordered these, you get both of them. I can't imagine we'd only send one out. So you're going to get two. And they're the same, they're identical. They serve the same purpose, except one is for pencils or crayons or anything that gets activated with oil. You can see I dug this out of my Pergamano box. And then this one is the one that we're working on with the watercolours. What is all this, you may ask? Well, this is the Dorso crayons. And they don't mix with water, which is why they're on the oil mat. Same as, for example, if I went to, look, I've got this one out to show you. The blending pencils, the Bs, the polychromos, all those ones. If you wanted to use them in the same way, this is interesting, right? You know, like we haven't applied oil in any way to these, have we? Not while we've been in the SHAC, you know, because normally the oil, we got this Dorso oil that we use, but you can use other oils, any oil will do the job. We just happen to use Dorso oil because it smells nice and it works. And we own the company. Anyway, so we haven't used the polychromos or the pergoliners, the B pencils at all. If we've done anything, we've used the blending pens and we've blended them but dry. We haven't added any oil to this, have we? But often what you'll see is that to get that lovely smoothness on parchment especially, guys use Dorso oil and blending oil and then smooth out the granular texture from pencils on parchment. It works really well on paper too, or on card. We just haven't done it. But if you have a look here, now that we've done the watercolour trick, so we know, for example, that what colour are we going to go with today? I'm just going to put a little bit of red down. Right? Let's say I put a bit of red down here. So just to recap, this is what we're doing, isn't it? So put red down on there. The reason that we put water on here is just to keep them separate, because a lot of people, they don't use it for the crayons. This is easy to identify. They may use it for just pencils. So if you didn't have that on there, you wouldn't know. You'd have to test it every time, which would be ridiculous, right? So have a look, just an experiment, and I'll show you. If now I take my water brush, okay, and I put you know that this is going to work because we've been doing it. This is the third day. If I activate my aquarelle pencil, my A for aqua pencil, right, with water, that's how we get that lovely wash that we've been using, isn't it? So that's how we've been painting our parakeets. Now, if this is just a little lesson, okay, it's not even a lesson, it's a bit of instruction. If, for example, I take another, if I was trying to do this with a B pencil, let me just get a bit of water going here. Right, there's a bit of water. If I wanted to, see, it won't move. It doesn't, it just will not move. Because they're not, look, see, doesn't work. They won't, it just won't work. Right, same as it won't work on this, on the Dorso crayons. I guess the clue's in the name, isn't it? If they've got Dorso on the bottle here, and these are called Dorso crayons. Look at the state of my nails. Do you know I've been doing artwork for the telly, and I got covered in black ink. Look, got excited. Now I didn't have time to get rid of it. Right, I digress. So now have a look. If I take the oil, if I take a bit of oil, now what can I use? Just use a bit of tissue. There you go. Just use a bit of tissue. So if I take a bit of oil and I put it on the tissue, that's quite a lot. But watch how it moves it straight away. You see how it activates, look. So if I wanted to clean this, I'd have to use oil, look. But the point I'm making is, look, that's how you reactivate. This has been on this mat for months. I dug it out of my old kit bag. But what you can, what I'm saying is you can reactivate this. Now, let me just see, where have I got, yeah, okay. Let me take a makeup sponge, right? Let me put a bit of oil on there now. A bit of oil. And let me just come in here with a, look, with a nib. So exactly what we've been doing with the watercolour, you can do exactly the same. Look, do you see how it reacts? Look, it activates. So you can dilute. I wonder if let me just do something here. This is a bit mad, but I'm going to do it. There's a bit of oil now on there, right? So I've got oil on the mat. Now, if I go in there, look, see how I'm diluting it and I'm activating the pigment. So that now, my pen, my nib is loaded with oil and pigment. So the point I'm making is, look, so I've got colour now, look, see? My point is that you can use the B pencils in the same way as we're using the A pencils to paint with. Do you get it? But the B pencils, they only can be activated with oil, not with water. That's all I'm saying. Sorry, took a little while to spit that out, but you get what I'm saying. So let me just wipe this off. Right, so and that's why when you get these, you get two. Because I was thinking about it, I thought, what are they going to think? Well, what's the point of the two mats? That's the point. They're identical. So if you don't intend to use an oil mat, then you can have two water mats. Absolutely makes no difference whatsoever, okay? Is there a back and a front? There definitely is. You can tell. When the back's smooth, the front's scratchy. Okay, did that help at all? I think so. Yeah, so there you go. That's that. Useful if you want to use the polychromos or the B pencils to get into really tight detail. You see what I'm saying? You can colour in with a B pencil, and then you can take your blending pen nib and then dip it lightly in oil like that, right? And then you can go like so, or you can do what we just did and rub some of the pigment from a B pencil into the mat and then loosen it up like that, and then you've got it as well. See? If you want to spot colour rather than, you get what I'm saying. I know what I mean. Maybe down the road we can give it a go. You know, we've got all the gear, haven't we? Well, a lot of us have. It's just about knowing how to use it. So I put my B pencil away and we'll crack on now with our postcard. So what we wanted to do today was have a look at the leaves in the background. Are you up for that? Yeah? Let's have a look. So you can see we're blending a few different colours here. While you're looking at the leaves, Look at the branches that they're all sitting on. Take a close look at the colours. You'll see it's kind of a dirty yellow like ochre. You see? But then look at the shading on it. I mean, I've said it a couple of times now. Can you see the colour that I've used to shade? Yeah, that's right, it's purple. So that's what we're going to do today. I thought it would be really interesting to see if we can mix a few colours as well, blend a few colours. Because that's the thing, you see. Say you've only got the one yellow in the box, but you want a darker yellow or a dirtier yellow, right? I mean, there happens to be a really good dirty ochre colour which we can use here. But say you didn't have that, then you could just mix this with a little bit of purple and you'd get that anyway. Okay, right, so what we'll do first is we'll get our palette ready. Let me see how far away I am. Not bad. So this is the one that I'm working on, isn't it? You ready to rock and roll? Let me get rid of that. Right. So I would say we'll go with the green first. Let's start with the leaf. Really, really light leaf. So let's do a little bit of green. This is just A15. I'm going with the real light green. We'll put a bit of that down. In fact, let's lighten it up even more. Have you got a yellow as well there? Let's put a bit of yellow next to it. There we are. Cool. So if we then get some water in a brush, on a brush, let's have a sip of tea. Let's have a think where we're going. I think what we want to do is just look at the picture first and figure out where the leaves are. Because they're cheese plant leaves, they've got holes in them. Do you see? So you've got to kind of look. I haven't done the birds down here either. What have you? Right, so you can see where I've coloured in. You've got to look at where the cheese plant leaves are. There's a bit more down here, I've missed it. See, there's another big cheese plant leaf up here. 1, 2, 3, there's 6 of them. Okay? So I was thinking that what we ought to do is make a really nice wash and identify the leaves. So in other words, we'll go in with our brush, bit of water. Let's do this thing. I'm going to put some water there. Right, that's my little palette there. And then I'm going to add a bit of, see, I want it to be, it's quite a citrusy green. So if I wanted it to be a bit lemonier, see, I can make another colour. I can do this. I can bring this one down here. So now I'm blending the two together. See, bring a bit of that in here, bring a bit of that in here. Right, so I'm getting a different wash going here. See, this is light. This is in between the two. Obvious, isn't it? Right. And now you can just change your colour. Right, so we've got 2 colours, but we're making a 3rd colour. And it's quite watery. We're going to need quite a lot of it. So we might as well get a goodly amount gone ready. Otherwise we'll do half a leaf and then we'll run out, won't we? Right, I reckon that's going to be enough. What do you think? You up for this? Yeah? It's all right. Do you remember what we said? This is just not a masterpiece. This is just where we're learning how to control the paintbrush. Because this is the first time, isn't it, that we've gone from a pencil to a paintbrush. I noticed on Facebook several of you were struggling with it. Persevere. That's all. You know, maybe not this week, but down the road. I know though, I understand, because it is quite alien. If you've always used a pen or a pencil and then suddenly you've got loads of bristles, it's not the same. It's not the same. I mean, I like these brushes because you do get a bit more control. They're quite rigid. You know, you can get paintbrushes that are right floppy. You know, if they've only got a few, I've got loads. I've tried everything. But sometimes you get stray bristles, don't you? That's no good because you keep getting marks, or they don't go to a point, so you're constantly licking, you know. I think you get what you pay for. The thing about these nylon ones is they automatically go to a point. Every now and again, very rarely, one will come adrift and you just pick it out. You know, I noticed that the other day, one of them came adrift. But it's not like splayed, you know. And you've got to be, one thing I will say, when you put the lid on, make sure that you catch, what you do is what I do is I swizzle it to make sure that you don't catch any of the bristles going the wrong way, because then you'll have to give it a haircut. Right, ready? Okay, leaf, here we come. And I think I'm going to go to this one up here. So that way, yeah, let's have a look. So that's the colour I've got. This is where I'm going. Cool, that's very citrusy. Cool. All right, that'll do. Right. And then, do you remember like yesterday? Yeah, because it's watery, you see. You can run across a larger area, like so, without getting blotches. Do you see? So now I've shown you how to, at a great distance, how to do that. Right, that was all right, wasn't it? What I'll do is I'll come in really tight now. So you saw, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's come in a bit tighter now. Okay, cool. Is that better? Right. Good, good, good. So now I'm going to come underneath here, right, and carry on. And I'm sort of using the side of the brush rather than the, so you do get control, don't you? The more you do this, just jiggle it along. I'm no expert, you know that. I don't profess to be an expert. I'm learning as we go along. I just know a few tricks. See, it's getting lighter and lighter. But do you remember, all we're doing here is establishing where the leaf actually is, because there's a little bit of, let's have a look, make sure it's not too dark. Right, so what I'm doing here is I'm going from there, and then I'll go, do you remember we were doing this yesterday? So you check it, so you go like that, get a bit more going. Hop, skip, jump. Now I'm going to come in here. Okay. So you want to kind of get the same colour going, don't you? All the way through. Yeah. But let's just get a nice limey green down, real light wash, because we're going to add shadow and different greens. Look at the depth here. You work in layers. That's a good idea. There we go. Add these bits in. Now let me see. This is a bit of there. Here's a bit here. Yeah, there you go. Cool. There's a tiny little sliver there. Okay, so leaf number 1 is complete, isn't it? So that needs to dry now. That's the key. So while that one's drying, let's go to number 2, leaf number 2. We'll pick up a bit more of this. Right, up we go again. So we know more or less now what the consistency is that we need. They don't have to be all the same colour. Not at all. Look at the birds, they're all different. I really had different birds yesterday. Quite enjoyed that. Right, so I've got a bit more of my green, my lime green. I've got quite a big, you know, I was showing you how the nibs on these pens are different sizes, see? Because we're using it's quite a large expanse, the leaf. I've gone to the large one. And Ian, do you know, right, if you've got these, isn't it weird the way they unscrew? They unscrew, like you'd think that I'd have to go anti-clockwise to undo it, to put the water in. But you go the other way. Yeah, you go clockwise. I know. Weird. But I guess it depends which end you're holding. But yeah, anybody, you will know exactly what I'm talking about, because I think there isn't anybody in the world that wouldn't think, hang on a minute, the screw's going around the wrong way on this. Strange. Right, hop, skip, jump. That was really watery. Glad I skipped before I jumped. Actually, it's too watery. Go back in. Because don't forget, you're adding water from here as well, not just from... The thing about these brushes is they only start giving you loads of water if you squeeze. So don't squeeze unless you want more moisture. Right, here we go again. Okay, in we go. And now we just push that colour around and stain. That's all we're doing. Right. Let's check where we're going. Have to sort of keep looking away to check. So this is a lot waterier, this one. So I'm going to come in with a bit more oomph. Go again. Bit insipid. So let's just go again. Yeah. Just work in sections, isn't it? I think it's just also it's about drying times and taking your time as well, you know? Taking your time. I was pleased to see yesterday several of you tried that tracing paper trick. We've actually got some of the tracing paper on the website, because I looked and I thought, when I went to order more, I rang up a friend, called a friend, and then I realised that we've actually got some on the website. So I've ordered more anyway, but yeah, not loads. It's good gear. It certainly works. Right, so I've done that one. Yes. Nice. Right, so step away from your leaf. Make sure that you've got it all. Yeah. Cool. Let that one dry. Now we'll go to the third one. So I'm going to turn it round, so I'm going to work from that end. Only because it's easier. Not leaning all over my little parakeets. I was talking to Dave today, because I said, we ought to discuss what they're saying to each other, these birds. You know, like we could put little captions in, couldn't they? So I was off on the old social distancing. Look, all these branches, he's saying, and you've got to sit next to me. Back up. Look, social distancing. And then, and this one's saying, where's your mask? Come on, you've got to think of some comments as well. What are they saying? If you had to write a caption for these birds, what are they saying to each other? We've actually got a conure in the house. We've got a miniature. Conures are miniature macaws. They're miniature parrots. They live forever. So this conure has been part of the family, wait for it, since 1996. That's how long this bird has been with us. Since 1996. Yeah. Still going strong, still savage, still draw blood if you go near the cage. I feel bad about a caged bird, you know. I wish I could set him free. However, he wouldn't last 5 minutes. So we talk. Yeah, he's a conure. And they live to be about 30. So he's an old conure now. painted. He's like a lot of green. There's a lot of green in this one. But not very friendly, to be honest. But then maybe that's my fault because I didn't persevere. But you know, when someone, if a bird keeps drawing blood every time you go near him, you tend to sort of avoid, don't you? Like, left it a bit late maybe. He's all right chatting though. It's quite nice. Right. What's his name? Savage. Savage. So I used to work with a lady, a girl, and every time she came to work, I'd say, don't put your finger near the cage. He'll bite you. And she couldn't help herself. It was like, told her not to. It was exactly what she did. And then you'd hear her outside and she'd go, oh, you savage. So that's how he ended up being called Savage. Right. That looks quite nice, doesn't it? Let's bring it over. Doesn't that look good? So now these have got to dry before we can put the next layer in. So why don't we let them dry now? Hey? It's so nice to do, isn't it? Is yours really nice and smooth? Yeah, I like this a lot. Yeah, yep. Now, let's have a look. While that's drying then, what we'll do is, stretch your neck. We've got to remember to do that. That's why I've got to go to acupuncture, because my neck's so stiff now from hours and hours of looking. So you've got to stretch. Crunch. It's a good idea to stretch, isn't it, in between? Okay? How you doing? Everybody happy? You all right? Good. Is the volume all right? I hope so. So we'll let the leaves dry, and while the leaves are drying, let's have a look at the branches. Right. Am I going to use the same? Yeah, no, there you go. So I'm going to use a smaller one. I need to use a smaller, because the branches are quite tight. So let me use the smaller one. It's got red all over it. Hang on, let me make sure I don't open it. See, that's the trouble. Because the screw goes the wrong way, there's a tendency when you're tightening it, you think you're tightening it, but you're not, you're opening it. Right, let me just get rid of the red, because I don't want red at the moment. So we'll just clean it off. That's all right. It will go, they're quite good for being cleaned. Didn't I have a little thing for water? Here it is. There you go. Yeah, it's clean. The red just stains it a bit, that's all. Alrighty, so I'm using the thinner one now. And so I've got that. And the dirty yellow, the ochre one, A18. I think we'll do the branches with A18. Yeah, let's do that. If you've only got yellow, then add a little bit of orange to the yellow and a tiny bit of purple, and you'll get a nice colour. So let's try it, shall we? You ready? Come on then. So where am I going? I think I'll turn my mat around a little bit. And do you know what's distracting is that purple that I put underneath with the Dorso oil. Right, that's better. So what I want to do is put the colour through here. Now, do you remember when we were talking, you maybe want to try it for yourself, right? Whether you want to actually pencil this in, because a lot of people would be tempted to go in here and pencil it in. See, now me, I am not going to do that. I'd rather go in with water. But just for the sake of argument, I need to check it again. Do me a favour, let me do it before you spoil yours. Let me do it, and then I'll say, actually, that's a good idea, or nah, forget it. Right, so I'm getting a little, just water now, just a little bit of water to activate this bit, yeah? So we'll get that going. Use my hand, can't even feel it. Right, okay, got the water going. Let me get my Dame Edna's on, that might help me. So I just want to see what happens if I come in here now and I activate it that way. It's not bad, you know, on that really thin area there. Right, so here's a test. Do you want to, on the really tight ones, use the pencil? We might as well. Why do they make them into pencils if we're not allowed to use them as pencils, eh? Come on, we can bend the rules, we can make the rules, can't we? I'm going to do this. I'm going to put the pencil in dry there where it'd be really quite a challenge. See what I mean? Do that in those areas there, I think, like that. But me personally, I'm going to use this to come down the bigger areas. Do you see what I mean? So, right, here we go. Let's get our ochre colour going, our branchy colour, branch. Nice. Don't want it too insipid. I don't want to have to go in too many times with this one. Not on the thin like that. Right. Hop, skip, jump. So then what we're going to do is come down here, like so. Let's go in here now. Right, ready? And down we come. We're just going to pull that colour. Yeah, definitely want to use the brush. Look how easy it is. So we'll use the brush on that area, like so. Don't you reckon? That's it. And then on this area, where it'd be quite touch and go. Yeah, definitely got this right. See, because it's quite concentrated colour. If it's too wet, just dry out your brush a tiny bit, like that, and don't squeeze the debris. Right. And then that bit, when you come down this area, then load your brush up with some colour, some pigment, and then hop, skip, jump, and then down we come. That works really well, you know, doesn't it? So, yeah, there you go. And the thing about watercolour, what I like about it is, if it's a bit blotchy, well, happy days. I'm sure there's a technical term for it, but you know what I mean. That's what we aspire to have, isn't it? A little bit of staining or whatever, I think. Right, this will look good. God, it's very relaxing. Do you not find? So we're going to come up the larger areas with the pigment on the brush. God, doesn't have to go a lot faster, doesn't it, than the polychromos. I'm not knocking them. Don't get me wrong. They are the Rolls Royce. But there's certainly watercolour. Certainly, you get a result faster, for sure. Don't you agree? Right. So then I'll do that for a moment, and then I'll just put the tight bits in. Might as well, because we're good at this. We're good at this. We're experts with pencils. Right, there you go. Is everybody happy? Are you okay doing this? I think it's interesting to try different things. Right, okay. So I'm going to come up there and I'm going to catch that one coming. Actually, while we're on it, I might as well just sharpen that pencil slowly. When you're sharpening your pencils, sharpen them slowly. Doesn't matter whether it's a Pergamano pencil or a polychromo. Just go slowly. Give the wood a chance to keep up with the blade. If you race when you're sharpening, sometimes you tear the wood and then the pencil will break. That's what I've discovered. But if I go slowly, it works fine. Right, so let's get the colour in there with the pencil. Yeah. It's like putting a comfortable pair of shoes on, isn't it, when you go in with a pencil? Right, so I've prepped that area and that area. Just a little bit more in that area there. There, this little fella. Look, they've had a row. So have they, and them. Right, okay. And now we'll prepare our palette. Bit of water. Does the sound still all right? I hope so. There we go. Right. Then we'll do this bit, and then by that time the other bit should be dry, and we should be able to add some purple to see if we can get that really cool bleed. All right, bit more challenging, but we can do this thing. Right, so hop, skip. That, when I say skip, what I mean is just test it on a bit of paper, right, and then in we go again. So along we go. Just pull that pigment up there, so you can go in now on top of the bit that you've coloured in. There we are. Cool. And then you just drag the stain through the area. There we go. This works. Just push the water through and then let it dry. You see it? Nice, huh? Yeah, so we'll get that colour down. Push it through. Make it lighter or darker, whatever you fancy. Hey, right, I don't want to titivate though, because it's a temptation to go in, but then all you keep doing is making it wet again. So what I want to do is stop doing that, because I want to introduce a little bit of the purple. I think it would be really good. Doesn't it look nice? And by that time now, the leaves are dry as well, so we can go back in and add a little bit of darker green to the leaves as well. Because there we can start adding shadow now. See? And again, the great thing about these pencils is that they are pencils, so you can start adding detail. If you're more comfortable with pencils, then you can actually start adding shade with the pencils, but I would say not quite yet. I would do that more towards the finish. Right, so let's have a look what we got so far. We'll let the branches dry now, and we'll go to the leaves, because I think it works better if you're working. He's definitely dry. The leaf is definitely dry now. So I'm going to put the lid on that one, because that's my branch one, the thin one. And I'm going back to my large one. What was the large one? I was using the red one, wasn't I? Didn't I use the red one? Quite, it's very big. Oh, grey. What about that one? That looks better. I'm going to use that one. That'll do. Right, I'm going to use this one. And this is going to be the one for the leaf. Yes. Right, so now with the leaf, what we want to do is add another green. So we can, instead of mixing that bright one with the yellow, let's mix that green with a dark green. let's call the A16. So you've got A15 and A16, light green, dark green. Let's have a look at these colours first. See, because they look really, this one looks really dark. But when you actually, it's a nice green. Let's put that one there. And let's add this one to it. Let's see if we do another mix. Let's blend the colours. I mean, that's one of the best things about the mix mat, is that you can do that. I'm not sure that you could do that on the actual paper. Well, I don't think you could. And if we think it's a little bit too dark, then we'll just add another little touch of yellow, won't we? I could just pull it over from over there. Right, squeeze out a bit of water. That'll do. Right, and then let's go with the dark green first. See what that looks like. Okay, so let's take a bit of that dark green. Not bad. Let's add a little bit of this colour, so it's not quite so dark, eh? Yeah, let's do that. So we're getting a different blend, you see. You don't need 100 pencils, you just need a blending mat, really. Right, let's have a look. So we're going to go in now. We want it to be quite watery, we don't want to get stripes. So, at this point, I probably encourage you to get a tissue, just in case you want to blot it. So you remember yesterday we were talking about watercolour paper, what a difference it makes. If you're on watercolour paper, you can really, you can see as soon as you touch the watercolour paper, the colour just explodes. Whereas with this, it tends to stain more because it's more like, this is more like hot press, really. But it's just an old postcard, right? So when you start using the right gear, it makes a big difference. So what we'll do now is, let me just think for a minute. Let's start at I'm going to start up there, and I'm going to put a bit of shadow. I'm going to play it safe and see what the colour's like in the corner. Do you see what I'm doing? So I want to see, if I bring this in here like so, let's see, just bring it around like this. So we've got a nice colour underneath, and then I'll just blot it a bit, and then I'll bring in a little bit of water, ink, remember? And I'll just add a little bit of depth like that, just blend it in. Right, so we're adding a layer of darker colour, and I just want to blot that. Then I'll come in again with a blend, like so. And I'm going to come back in this corner. This is going to be the darker bit because it's behind the branch. So I'm playing it safe. I want to see what happens to the colours as I come round here now. Right. And I'll come in there, bit of shadow underneath there. There you go. You want to make it a bit blotchy, then just don't add solid walls of it. See? So now I'm coming down there like so, just to add a little bit of depth. Yeah, you see? So it's a bit patchy, but it's a leaf. There, this is going to look good. Now let's grab a bit more of that depth. So I'm going in with that dark green. That'll do. Right. So I want to show you the result, if you know what I mean, but you can't really. So hop, skip, jump. You can't jump over layers, if you see what I mean. Much as I'd love to be able to say, and then, because it takes, there's drying time involved, isn't there? But it's going to look nice. Look, see how you can just add a little bit more. It will dry a lot lighter than this. Yeah, it really will. But if we just add a little bit of depth to this now, to this side of the leaf, let's have a look what it looks like. Turn it round. Yeah. So it's coming now, isn't it? So this is going to be behind the branches, so it's allowed to be a bit darker. Yeah? Right, that'll do. You can pick up a bit of the green. Depends how much you want to... Right, I don't want to do too much because I want to add a bit of blue, see? Oh, there's that really thin sliver there. There. Right. So now over this side, I don't want it quite so dark, you see, because I want it lighter. You see what I've done here? So in that case, what I'll do is, rather than just make it waterier, I'll add some yellow. And then it will be lighter because I'm going to paint it lighter. Do you see? So we'll add a bit of water to it. Add a bit of green. And it gets a bit dirty after a while, and maybe you have to clean your mat. But rather than just water it down to make it lighter, let's mix a tiny bit of yellow in, and then it will get lighter when I do it. So I reckon now, right, hop, skip, jump. Let's add a little bit more. Here we go. See? So we're just going to add a bit of shadow around the back, behind the branches. But it's, see, and if you want, you can take a bit of depth, bring the darker colour in there. If you've overcooked it, like I have, grab a bit of water and then go back in, like so. And then remember we did it yesterday, we hoovered up, didn't we? Just take a clean brush. When you're using watercolour paper, you'll see that's a great way to go. You just hoover that and then blot it, be fine. By the time that's dried, you won't even know that I went a little bit haywire. Right, hop, skip, just check. It's always good to check. Right. And the thing is, because we put that light wash down first, you haven't got to think now about what you're actually colouring in, because, you know, we've already established the line art. That's the key, isn't it? See? Starting to come together nicely. I love watercolour. What do you think? See, now let's leave that to dry. See, normally I'd go to that leaf, then I'd go to that leaf, then I'd go to that leaf. So by the time I've done the third leaf, I'll be an expert in cheese plant leaves. All right. By the time you've done all 6 of them, you could do a jungle. However, what I want to show you is the purple. So this is dry by now. So I know I'm jumping about, but it's because I think it's good to see these things, because then you can practice a little bit more, you know. Let's see if I can get this right. Let's do the purple. Right, now purple is going to be the colour that we use to shade the side of the, but this is where I went quiet when I was doing this. I thought, I've got to concentrate on this one. So let's take the smallest. You need a small brush for this, I think. I don't think I want to draw down the side, because I think that might be too, so it might work though. Just stay there a minute and let me just check something out. Let me just check something out, because this might be a lot easier. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking the purple and I'm just going to use light strokes. This might be an easier solution if you want to really concentrate the purple in that area. See what I'm doing? Right, so let's just see it. Let me do it before you mess yours up. And then we'll see. So if I take my water now, forget this idea. We'll do that for a larger expanse. Let's see if I grab a bit of water. All right, let's have a look. And I just come in now on that edge. Yeah, I'm not leaning on anything. Right, let's see if we can come up close and see if this works. Where is it? Is that better? Can you see that better? Here. Right, so if I come in here, let's see. If I just take that water and I run it along that pencil line that I just did. Right. Yeah, it's gone over the edge a little bit, but that's probably because I added too much. I don't know though. And what happens if I take a tiny little bit of this as well? Right, just to egg it a little bit. And then if I come along there, yeah, you know what? It's a bit of both, guys. Yeah. Okay, It's a bit of both. So you can put down your shadow. Look. It's up to you. So you get it really dark. Let's have a look. So you get it really dark if you add a bit of the purple first, but the colour is gorgeous. Let's try this one. I'm going to try one more. Right, so I'm using A7 purple, okay? And I'm going to, where's the shadow going to be? Right, shadow's going to be, like it's coming from the middle, the light. So the shadow's on that side and the shadow's on the back. So I'm going to put, I think on this one, I'll probably put the shadow, I'll put the shadow on this side because the light's coming down the middle. See, that one, I bled it a bit too much, I think. So, but it's a practice. You'll figure it out. I put too much water in, I think. But it's not dry yet. See, until it's dry, you can't tell. So what about if I do that now? Right? Like so. Okay, let's give it a go. And then take a bit of water, but with no, maybe just a damp brush. Squeeze a bit onto my hand. Then I can feel it, whether it's wet or not. So you can't really, that's better. Right, give it a go. Where am I? Right. And then if I come along here now, and I try and stay, oh yeah. Let it bleed a little bit first. Do you know, that is dynamite. It's really dark. Look, see how you can really... So if I wanted to tone that down a little bit, could I? Or is it too late? I can't wait to see what you get up to. Yeah, you see, so when you go along with a bit of water, it just draws it out. It just draws it out. Yeah, check that out. So you can get really dramatic shadows like that. You can get really subtle ones like this. So there, let's have a look. If I did this, if I take a bit of water now, here, we've got a fit. You can't believe it's already 5 to 11 again, can you? It isn't, is it? No, we've got a little bit longer. Okay, so let's see what happens if, see, this is really soft, isn't it? Which I quite like. So I've done one layer, really watery. What happens if I go in? See, it's still going to be too watery. So this is where the pencils become pencils, don't they? Let's do this thing. Say I add a bit of, just say I want to. Crikey, you know what? You could just do it dry, couldn't you? Look. I tell you. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Just do it dry. Why add water? Let's see what happens if I add water. I'm putting the shadow on all the wrong sides. Doesn't matter. I'm experimenting. Yeah, see, when you add water, it makes it more vibrant. It's good though, isn't it? Check out the difference. Okay. So this one thing I do know is that you go in with the tip into the edge. You know, it's like picot cutting. You're not going to do that. You keep the tip on the actual line and you put the water into the artwork. You put the water into the artwork, into the bit that you're working on, not the bit outside. So you can bleed it down, can't you? And the thing is, when this is dry, if I wanted to add a little bit more of the ochre colour, I can just go in with the pencil and do that too. But what a nice colour combination purple is with yellow. Do you see what I'm getting at? It's very nice, isn't it? It's going to be so dramatic when we get this going. So let's have a look. I wonder if our leaf is nearly ready. Do you think the leaf is nearly there? So we used purple to blend with our ochre colour. And to do the leaf, we're going to use blue. But I think we'll save that for tomorrow because it's the bigger expanses. give me a chance to practice as well. Oh, someone's having a bad day. So let's call it a day for today. I got pottery this afternoon. Yes, pottery. I love pottery. I can't get enough pottery. And so that's my little indulgence this afternoon. The only thing I don't like is that I've got to wear a mask now. So you can't talk to anyone because it's like that, and you get all hot and bothered. But it's okay. It's mind over matter. It's got to be done. Health and safety. It's worth it. It's worth it. So I shall see you tomorrow morning. Sorry, I was too much traffic in my head, isn't there? I'll see you tomorrow morning. Right, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I wasn't too scatty. We're doing really well. I'm really liking the development, right? So we've learned how to add, this will dry lighter. You've got to give it a chance to dry. We've figured out different ways to do this, how to add colour to get shade. So now we know that. Of course, we could go back in and look at the birds if we wanted to add a bit of, but you could do that tomorrow, couldn't we? Let's do that tomorrow. Let's finish our leaves, and tomorrow we'll add blue to the leaves because that will really change the look. It changes it from this to really, well, I've already done one little bit here. It just makes it more authentic almost. So let's do that tomorrow, and then on Friday, we'll be ready to do the background, and that will make the whole thing just come to life. But really, this whole week is a learning curve, isn't it? And what you do have to bear in mind is we're just using postcards. So we're practicing the different techniques and the mix mat idea and all these things, but we're not using watercolour paper. That's a whole other animal. If you're interested, go to the website. Steve Ellen, he'll know exactly where to direct you. If you're looking for watercolour, if you're looking for the tracing paper, if you're looking for the brushes, there's an amazing bundle on the website. We've got it all there, and we're getting the orders out literally on the spot. As soon as it comes in, it's coming out so that you can join in. And I think what I love about this is that now we're doing the doodling. We've learned how to transfer to watercolour paper. We've learned how to use the watercolour, the aquarelle pencils. So now we've got the blending pencils, the polychromos, and we've got the B pencils. Now we're using the A pencils. So slowly, it's that toolbox, isn't it? That skill set. Slowly, not only are we keeping each other company and keeping each other sane, which is still, for me, the primary purpose of the SHAC. It's absolutely, for me, it's like mental yoga. It keeps me focused. It gives me a purpose. It gives me a reason to get up. It gives me a place to be every morning at 10 o'clock, you know. But the other good thing is that we're also developing our skills. Why not? Why not use our time constructively and positively, you know, which is what I think we're doing here. And we're in week 16 now, you know, and just consider how far we've come and how much we've learned, you know. It's great, isn't it? I'm really happy with the way it's evolved. And 16 weeks ago, I didn't sit down and go, right, this is my plan. It wasn't that at all. We were all in crisis. And it was like, no, let's just all hold hands and calm down. That was how this started. Isn't that great? So on that happy note, I'm going to love you and leave you because I need to get my messy clothes on to go to pottery. And you have a lovely afternoon. Find a shady spot and do some lovely watercolouring. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Steve, thank you for your help. You're brilliant. And I'll speak to you later. Lots of love. Bye-bye now.